Back at it again, baby. Freaking today's day 2 out of 21, and hey, right off the bat was tempted, right? Yesterday and the other day I committed to myself to stop smoking bud during this semen retention. Failed yesterday, right? And this morning I was reading my my devotionals or whatnot, and it was just talking about when Christ was fasted for 40 days or whatnot, and the devil comes and tempts him or whatever with bread, or turning a stone into water, or throwing himself over. And then Christ replies like something, you must not tempt the Lord or whatever. Don't tempt your Father. And basically that kind of brought me to yesterday, where I try to do so much. Like I said, even before I started this, I said I try to do too much and stretch myself. When you're in a fasted state like I was yesterday for like 35 hours and you haven't done it for a while, best believe the temptations, the negative energies or the positive energies of your life appear faster. Like everything, because you're that period of not eating, right? Because you're right there, you're kind of starving your ego. You're kind of putting yourself to kind of like the test to see where you're at mentally. And that's considered the wilderness when you're in a fasted state, or you're trying to quit doing something. Maybe it's you're fapping all the time. That is your wilderness right there, right? Fapping for me, semen retention for me, I don't feel like that's my wilderness no more. My wilderness right now is smoking, being in my head, beating myself up, and surrounding myself with takers of the world. Meaning takers, people that don't offer anything, and you just been chilling with them just because there's nothing else to do to kill time. You know what I mean? And you just known them all your life, so it's more of a habit to keep them around than anything else. So what I'm realizing, I gotta wind myself off of bud in these next 21 days. I still smoke and accept that failure when I do fall, if I do fall. But constantly being mindful what gets put in my thought process. Being discerning of words that come in and penetrate my spirit. You know what I mean? Because words that you let slide off and you're not consciously thinking of them, they pierce your spirit subconsciously. It's like someone planting seeds in your heart. And then you're wondering why you're feeling a certain way, or you're thinking certain thoughts. Is because you put yourself in a predicament. Either you heard it off the radio, or you heard it, the car right next to you cussing you out. It puts you in a different state, because whatever your mindset is on controls your state of being. Whatever your physiology is in and whatever you're speaking to yourself controls your state of being. You know what I mean? But the key is be vigilant of your environment. Make sure your environment's good, first of all, clean, good. Be mindful of what goes in between your ears and your eyes. And be mindful of what you're feeding yourself. Because if you're eating like shit, you're going to feel like shit. And if you feel like shit, you're going to think like shit. And if you think like shit, you'll act like shit. That's simple. Right now I'm sweating my balls off. I just went for a 2-mile run and did 4 100-yard sprints, 80 push-ups, and then 50 knees to chest. I'm jumping up, working on explosiveness today. Tomorrow will be a lighter day, probably doing like 20% of my work. Right now I'm about to go ahead and edit this video, have it uploaded for you guys, and then go do some yoga. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you're brand new to this. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that comments below. If you don't want to, that's okay too. Peace.